Welcome to Online AP Stats using the Schoology. This video is going to give you a quick overview of how an entire chapter will work on Schoology and how you can navigate through it. Now the entire course is already set up here in 12 different folders for the 12 chapters. Over to the right hand side on Schoology, you can always see the upcoming assignments that will be due for a week. Or if you click on this calendar icon here, you can page through and look at what the plan is for a month or the following months. You'll also notice over here under each chapter folder it says must complete. So before you can move on to chapter 2, you must complete all of the material for chapter 1. This is not a self-paced online course. This course is meant to be done as it would be in a brick and mortar class in staying on pace with what is expected of you. Again, the calendar activities here will always tell you what you need to do for that day's learning. Now let's cover the topics that are covered in here. There are going to be 4 main topics covered in this course over 12 chapters. If you look over here in the course resources, we're going to see that there's 4 different topics. The first topic is exploring data, and that's chapters 1 through 3, where you're going to find in the green folders. If you plan on taking the national exam, it is scheduled for Thursday, May 16th at noon, so you can put that in your calendar right now. If you do, topic 1 is about 20 to 30% of that test topic. Topic 2 is called Planning a Study, and it's just chapter 4, the orange folder here. It's about 10 to 50% of that test. Topic 3 covers chapters 5, 6, and 7. The topic is probability, these blue folders here, about 20 to 30% of the test. And the last is topic 4. It's statistical inference. It's the last 5 chapters, chapters 8 through 12, and it's about 30 to 40% of that test. We do wrap up the course with about a 3-week window to prepare for that exam. If you are taking the exam, what it is, it's going to be a 90-minute, 40 multiple choice questions, and then a 90-minute, 6 free response questions. Our course is structured to have all of your formative work is going to be submitted online, and all of your summative work, which is helping you to really prep for this 40-question, 60-question test, is all going to be paper-based like the real national exam. Now, if you click on the course resources folder, you're going to find all of these various documents. I'm not going to go over all of them. One of them that I talk about in the syllabus is having an online textbook. You all are going to have a hard copy book, but if you want the online version, you can click on this and share one, or see me and I can get your own login information. I also have the YouTube playlist right here if you want to link that and earmark it. It has all of our 100+ videos available. You can always find the syllabus online, the one-page review of how the learning cycle goes for each chapter. We will talk about the testing and when you need to take a summative test for a chapter, what are those testing dates and where do you go for testing? This is where some of that information is. And then you're going to find some other general information that we may reference throughout the year. The formula sheet right here, you do have a copy at the beginning of the year, but you can always find it there. The one thing that is interesting, there's this link called What's Your College Credit Policy? If you click on that, you can actually search the colleges that you're interested in, and you can see what is the required score you must get on the National AP exam to actually get college credit for their institution. Now, when we did the learning cycle overview video, we already went through the complete chapter flow, but I want to show you what chapter 1 really looks like. So when you first open chapter 1, you're going to see the question board here. And I highly encourage you to use this discussion platform as your voice in the classroom anytime during your learning if you have a question, and I will help you as much as I can with my responses. The chapter resources, if you are going to take online notes, you can find the PDF document of the complete note packet so you can take notes in your notepad. Every chapter is going to start with a little opener, kind of a case study of what a main topic might be related to the specific learning we're going to be doing for that chapter. Then you're going to come across the orange folders, which is all going to have your daily learning by learning objective in there for here. Then we notice for chapter 1, day 6 is our mid-chapter review where we do our free response, and you get your pacing score based on if you're pacing behind pace or on pace with the course. And then we wrap up our learning for that chapter with 2 more days of learning objectives. Then we're going to get ready for the review. We're going to have some helpful hints to read, another second free response to try. The review assignment that we can submit on Schoology and get corrected, we can always go back to that question board. We do have some optional practice for multiple choice and for free response. And this chapter 1 is a 2-day test, so we have a multiple choice test and a free response test. And then we also have the folder for the retake information if you are going to be retaking any one of your exams. Now, if you click into the Chapter 1 Resources folder, you're going to find 3 different things. There is going to be the electronic version of the online notes, so if you like to do your notes online, you can do this instead of the paper packet. Chapter 1 Helpful Hints. I highly recommend you read these before you take any of the major tests related to this chapter. And there's actually the tracker will be in here also. And the tracker is just going to show us the pacing and the learning objectives that are going to be covered on the various days. After the resource folder, there's the opener, which is what you see as the picture on the front page. Just read the chapter opener to see what a case study would be like related to the chapter content. Now let's take a look at what would a typical day's learning look like. Here I have Day 3's learning, which covers learning objectives from section 1.1, letters D, E, and F. These are the particular objectives that the lesson will cover. When you click in that folder, this folder here is going to have to happen in a sequence. If you click on Student Progress, it will show you the order in which things have to happen. And you're going to see it laid out in that particular order. This first one here is the video notes for learning objectives D and E. You're going to notice here it says you must view the item to move forward. So watch the video, get out your note packet, and complete your notes. When you're done with that, then click on this practice document. When you click on the practice document, you're going to actually be taken to this assignment right here. If you want to, you can reference the practice problems here in a PDF format, but these practice problems are actually in your note packet, so you can really use it like a workbook. When you try those practice problems and you want to see if you're right, click this document here to actually get the solutions and just check your practice. The practice is not required, but it is highly encouraged to do. Then you're going to be following up with your first formative assessment. The green puzzle pieces, a lot of the times, are going to be formative. So when we look at this, it says here you must score at least 80% to move on. This is a homework quiz for the 3 learning objectives. This right here is an example of one of the questions you would be asked. So read the question, do the fill in the blank, and submit your responses. You do have 3 tries to achieve the 80% proficiency on here. If you do not make the 80% proficiency, you are locked out and you cannot move on. You must contact me to get some help in trying to figure out the extra learning you need to do so you can resolve what you're not getting correct. Once that's been done, I'll unlock the quiz and you can move forward. Sometimes in the learning objective days, you're going to find what's called here a MC quiz. It's a multiple choice quiz. These are actual multiple choice questions that have been given on past exams. This question right over here is an actual example of a question that was on a past exam. You also have 3 tries on this multiple choice quiz and must get at least 80% proficiency. Again, you will be locked out, but you can see me for some additional help and I can unlock it so you can move forward and continue your learning. Now, some of the daily learnings will also have applets for you to do. This happens to be day 5 within chapter 1. It's a stats applet on histogram bin width. Just read the directions and it's going to tell you what to do. Click on the applet. When you're inside of it, all the directions are here. And this says to click on this link. When you click on the link, you'll be brought to an activity that you need to perform. Read the directions on what you're asked to do. When you're done with the activity, look at the follow-up discussion question that you need to answer. And you would go here in the comment section and give your reply to what your thoughts are. Another type of assignment is a student upload. This is one where I ask you a question and you're going to have to write out your answer. Maybe you have to make a graph. You will have to take a photo of your work and upload it to this assignment. I will come on in and manually grade this assignment for you. If you don't get 100% on it, I will give you feedback in the comments where you can resubmit it for a second time to try to get 100% on that work. And this is really an assignment to help us prep for more of the free response type of questions that you would expect on a final exam. Now, we already talked in detail the mid-chapter review, what you would be doing. But when you open up that folder, here's what you're going to find. You're going to see that first green puzzle piece where you're going to try that initial question and do just your write-up. and then you're going to have the 2 discussion questions of different student responses. You're going to critique them, giving them a 1, 2, 3, or 4 based on the AP grading techniques. You can then click on the actual scoring free response and see what the real answer was for that one. Then you wrap up and you try your own free response question. You open this up, you print out the free response, write up your answer, take a picture, and upload it. You are allowed to redo this one time. After I grade it and give you feedback, what you would do is a reflection, and then you would do a re-upload, and I would grade it and give you a new score. And that would encompass the full day of the mid-chapter free response. Now, once all your formal learning is done, we're going to really get into the review mode. I encourage you first to click on the helpful hints, read all of the details about that chapter. It's going to help you prepare for the free response and the exams that are coming up. The vocabulary flashcards are optional. You can try and look at those if you would like to. Then you're going to have your second free response for that chapter. As usual, go into the assignment, print out the free response, write up your answer, and upload it. Again, if you don't like your score that I give you, you can do your reflection and resubmit up to 1 time. Following that, we're going to get ready for the review. Go into your note packet and you're going to find the multiple choice and the free response questions there. I would try these at the best of your ability, kind of like you're taking a test. Then come and click on the green puzzle piece, submit your answers for the multiple choice and your feedback related to the free responses, and see how you are graded. At any point in time, feel free to use the discussion board and I will help you with your questions as I can. Now, when it comes time to test, of the 12 chapters, 4 of those are going to have a 2-day test. Chapter 1, 4, 8, and 9. You're going to notice here for Chapter 1, we have the multiple choice test on one day and then the free response. I will always supply some optional multiple choice practice and optional free response practice if you want. Click into those, get the questions, and you can also see the answers. Remember, we said for multiple choice, you get 2 choices. The second answer would be your partial credit. Now, the date that you see these tests posted in Schoology is the due date. You have a deadline for these exams. You have 1 week following the due date to get these exams done. If they are not completed by then, you get 0 points and cannot take the exam. Now, if you've taken the exam within the appropriate 1 week window and it didn't go well, you can retake it. In order to qualify for a retake, however, recall when you took this multiple choice test, all of your formative work had to be 100% complete. If it's not complete, you have forfeited your right to retake. If it has been completed, then you qualify for the retake. You would come in and see me, we'll sit down and go over your test. We'll get out the learning objective tracker found in your note packet. We'll highlight the learning objectives that you missed on that initial test. Now, you will have just 1 week from the day that you took the initial test to get this retake done. So that means you need to meet with me to get the relearning in an adequate amount of time. You need to do this 2 days prior to that deadline at the least, or do it sooner. Then when you're ready to retake, you would sign the testing form and sign up for a day within that 1 week window, and the new score you get on that retake is the final score that goes into Skyward. For teacher communication, the main source I plan to use are the updates on Schoology. Every week you can expect to either have a short video of breaking news or a paragraph text talking about some of the key things for the upcoming week. This may be about a key date for a test that's coming up for the week, or some assignments that may be due on a certain day. Now, I do also plan on using email for communication, but I will primarily try to use the updates on Schoology so everything is housed in one spot. The other thing I want to do is help us create some sense of community. So once a week, you're going to see me post a poll about 2 truths and a lie about each one of you students. I challenge you to see if you can figure out which is the lie. Another thing we're going to do is post and celebrate birthdays of everyone. If you're a summer birthday, don't worry, we'll get your half birthday in there. The last thing is a water cooler. If you want a place just to come and talk about something that's not about math and you just want to be off the topic, please feel free to use the water cooler. Now let's talk about student progress. You do have to do things in sequential order. Sometimes you can't get to certain worksheets or quizzes when you think you should. If you ever try to click on an assignment and it won't open up because it says it's private, you want to check your student progress. Odds are there's something you did not do that you had to do before. What you do is when you're on Schoology over here, there's a student progress bar. If you click it, for example, when I'm in Chapter 1, it's going to show me the order in which things have to happen. So, for example, I have to do Day 1's activities. And the first thing I have to do is the video. Then I have to do the practice worksheet. Then I do the quiz. and you can tell right now it says I'm in progress. If you actually click inside the folder for day 1, it's going to show you exactly in words what you need to do. Here it says for this particular video that you must view it. So maybe you forgot to view the video. So click on the video because that will then allow you to move on to the second thing in here. This practice worksheet is a must view item too, and the quiz is a must score at least 80%. So if you haven't scored at least 80%, you can't move on, so that might be holding you back too. Now students may have questions about what are your grades on certain assessments. All you need to do is you can click on this grades icon here, and it's going to list them by the category. So this one here is formative, which is 20% of your grade. Here's some practice categories which aren't graded, but they're activities you did. For example, the chapter review or your initial free response write-up that you did. And then there's the summative category, which will basically show your multiple choice and free response tests. And here it's 80%. Now if you look back at the formative category, this is actually alphabetical and not in sequential order, so you might have to dig around and look and see where your assignment is. Now be careful, this is not a progress thing. So if you're trying to click on to the next quiz, it may not let you go there yet because there might be a video you have to watch, or an assignment you have to open, or an applet you have to do. The last thing about grades to keep in mind is the grades that are posted here in Schoology are not considered the formal grades. I will be pushing your grades out of Schoology into Skyward. Your official grade book for looking at your true progress in this class will be to look at Skyward. However, don't forget you can always look back here in the Schoology part and see what grades maybe have not yet been submitted into Skyward and are yet to come.